Hello, I'm Sirat, and today I'm here to discuss templates in Google Tag Manager. So, custom template basically gives us a tool with which we can build a user interface for the scripts that we have for our website. So, basically, it helps us to build and encapsulate the things into a user interface, which makes it more easier and more easy to access and modify. So today we will discuss that what are the various benefits of custom templates and what is sandbox JavaScript. So first of all, the most important thing to understand about custom template is that templates are tested. They can be tested by a developer or by a trusted group of companies. So they are tested and they are being built by some good developers that we have our trust in. So when we are using a template, we can be kind of sure that they are not gonna cause some miscellaneous activities in our website. But when we are using a script tag, like if we want to include a Facebook pixel code and we are copying the script and pasting it inside the custom tag, so there is a chance of causing errors. Like we'll have to replace the ID and the account, and doing that in the code can lead to errors because not everybody is comfortable with code, and even a small mistakes of a comma can break the code, right? So when we use custom templates which are tested by our trusted developers and companies, then we are sure that first of all, they will not cause any harm to our website. And secondly, they avoid errors, human errors, to a lot extent. Like in templates, we have input fields, right? And most of them are validated also. Like if we type in something wrong, then they might give us a pop-up that this is not the desired value, that this is not the expected value for running this correctly. So it reduces the scope of error and it is tested, so it will not lead to breaking down our website. And then once we have imported the custom template, we can use it for creating a tag or variable, like for whatever the custom template is made, we can use it for that purpose. So custom template also do one more thing, that it abstracts the code. So we basically just use the template, input the values using the user interface, and we don't need to worry about what all code is being written in the background, right? So the code is abstracted from the user because not all the users are interested in what is actually happening behind the scene until and unless they have their results, right? So abstracting the code might be a good idea for some users. And as we discussed, that the scripts can cause security problems, and custom templates help us to avoid that, and it also help us to avoid unnecessary errors. In custom template, uh, we use a thing known as permission model, right? So this prevents the harmful code from being run. So we can specify the read, write, and execute permissions for better security. Once the template is built and it is tested and executed, so it can be shared through import export or through libraries or public repositories. So it can be shared with the community, and then the community can import it in the container and use it, right? So it makes it easier for the company to reach the end users, right? Because sometimes the templates are not listed by Google Tag Manager by default. So in that scenario, the company can simply create an import file which can be used by the user, right? So now let's go to Google Tag Manager and see a template. In the templates section, right now I don't have a template for tag, but I have a template for variable. So let's click it and see what all options do we have here. So this is a template editor that is open in front of us. And first of all, we have the name. So this is the name that will be displayed when we use this template. Like if I make some changes here, change, let's say. And this is the preview mode. So this is how our template will look like if it is actually used for creating a variable, right? So this is how it will look like. In the variable type, it is saying URL 2.0, but if I refresh it, it will reflect these changes, right? So we can make changes from here. We can also learn about a template, like more advanced versions of URL. This is the description. Then we have to agree to the community template gallery terms of service. Then here we have the template status as linked and the version. And if we click the info, we kind of get a summary that it is by Simo Avaha, and the description. And what's new, that it fixed the key options to handle the question marks in URL as well. Then we have a summary for permissions as well. We have the last date that it was updated on, and we have links. Like if I click this, this will be the homepage link to Simo Avaha's website, right? And then we have documentation repository. We have an option to report an issue to Simo Avaha, or we have a report abuse option, that if we feel that this template is doing something that is not correct, then we can use this option, right? But for now, it's a very good template provided to us by Simo Avaha. Then if I cross this, we have the option of fields here. And in the fields, we have variable type, URL parts, query key options, query key, fragment key, advanced settings. In the variable type, if I expand this, so this is telling us that it's a drop down menu item, right? And the options are build custom URL string, retrieve key from query string, which have the value query key. And another option is retrieve key from fragment. Like if we click edit, so we see this is the drop down that we are referring to here. Click the drop down, we see all these options, right? Retrieve key from fragment and retrieve key from query settings and build custom URL. So we also have the option to add our own menu item. If I click here, then I have the option to add my own menu item and the value, but I don't want to do that. So let's delete it. Then we have the option to include variables, which it says that it's optional. And if it is true, the select dropdown will include the containers variable in addition to the menu item, right? And then we have the display name. Then we have URL parts. Inside it, we have all these things that are pre-specified. Yeah, so these are the fields here. And we have the option to add the field if we want, and we can select the field. And if we want, then we can go to the settings for a particular field and select the conditions from here. Like we go here. Yeah, so we have all these options that not to set as an option, and to make this always available in the summary, and to clear on copy and default value and all these things that we can select by just a click, right? So this is all the options here. We can also reorder them if we want by selecting this, right? Then we have code here, right? So this is basically a sandbox JavaScript code. We will discuss sandbox JavaScript in a bit, but this is the code here, and we are referring to the fields using this name here. Like we have used variable type, right? And in the code also we have used data.variable type. So this is how we refer to the user input. And this is the code. Now in the permissions section, we have all the permissions. So these are automatically detected. It is giving us a message here. Then we have the reads referral URL and all the permissions, and read URL and log to console and all these things. Now in the test option, we can define a test for this template and run it. But right now we don't have a test defined. We can simply add a test, but it won't do anything right now because it is not defined. So let's delete it. And this is the preview. Basically, this is how it will look when we create a variable using this template. Like we'll have the option to select this and the URL parts. And we also have the option for advanced setting, which we enabled from this fields only. Like here, we have advanced setting, right? So this is the option that we have enabled. Like we have created the field for it. That's why it is being displayed here. And then we have the URL source. So yeah, basically fields help us to customize what should be displayed to the user. right? So now you also have the option to run the code. So this is all the features that we have inside a template editor. Now let's go to this documentation here. So basically, Sandbox JavaScript is Google Tags Manager restricted version of the browser JavaScript. Right. So Google Tag Manager has taken JavaScript, but it has restricted some features from it, like global access to the API. So why is the global access, like global APIs are restricted? Because they can manipulate the permission model. And how so? Let's say a variable's access is limited for a particular template, like it cannot be accessed from a template, but the user can use a global API and manipulate that access. That's why GTM has restricted the global APIs. Instead, we have this custom APIs here, which we can use, like all these APIs that are provided to us by GTM, right? So we are also recommended to add data GTM on success, so that it can be identified that, okay, the execution is completed successfully. This is mostly more critical for the cases of tag sequencing, and we can also add GTM on failure. So this is all about template, and in the next video we will understand that how to create our own template. Thank you.